Sorry if I look a little bit frazzled. It's been a long day, and I didn't think I would be able to do this review, but I have a little bit of time to do this. It's Weapons, which, if you don't know what Weapons is, an original horror movie from Zach Cregger, who did Barbarian a couple years ago, which was a huge hit for like smaller horror movies, and got a lot of people talking. And it was this original horror movie. For me personally, it didn't really work though. It didn't deliver on the scares. It didn't really entertain me with its characters or its mystery. However, with Weapons, yeah, I like this. And I think it was better on the mystery front, it was better on the character front, and it was a very interesting looking movie. Now, I like how this is shot, where for the most part, it's like, okay, yeah, this looks above average in just how it captures this small suburbia. But then there's like some longer takes that I thought worked and added to the atmosphere. And I think this film is good on capturing this mysterious atmosphere and kind of depressing atmosphere after something tragic happens to this town. And that works on a visual level, and that also works on a script level. And this is a story that has interconnected characters, and it explores how, each of them cross paths. And for the most part, I was like, okay, yeah, I like how it follows this character, and that's a pretty good performance. That's a pretty good performance. Once again, we see Julia Gardner, which we just reviewed Fantastic Four, and she's one of the main characters in here, and she does a really good job. She's probably my favorite performance in here. Josh Brolin's pretty good. But yeah, I think as a whole, the adults are really good. There's a specific child performance that's like the main child performance. Not bad, but also at points not great. And there was definitely a little bit emotion to be desired in some scenes that were important. That I was like, ooh, I kind of wish they emoted just a little bit more here. But yeah, it's hard to be, mean to a child performance, but that's just my honest take. No disrespect there. The thing that doesn't really work for me though is the runtime. Not that I wasn't like engaged with the mystery that's being strung along, but I do feel like there's specific sections on the characters that they follow that I'm like, okay, yeah, these two stories which connected could have totally been cut because we kind of get a lot of their story from this other perspective. And it doesn't feel like we really had anything too interesting in those segments. And also, it felt like it didn't add much to the mystery or progressing the story there. And it could have been delivered in a quicker, more efficient way because I was feeling the runtime in that middle and even towards the end. However, speaking of the end, I absolutely love the last like 20 minutes of this until we get to like the last 3 minutes. And I felt like this film kind of rushed in how it was wrapped up. And it kind of left me with a, oh, wait, that's it? Other than that, again, those last 20 minutes, there's a lot of satisfying moments in there. Also, the score, I thought, had some really good tracks, which added to the tension. However, there's some lighter tracks in the score that almost had like, oh, we're goofing around and sleuthing in here. And it felt almost like a Disney Channel production in that regard. So I wish the lighter tracks in the score were revamped or just removed. And there were definitely some scenes where I'm like, okay, you don't need a score here. And I think the score is kind of detracting from the tension of the story. However, there are scenes that don't use a score and use limited sound effects. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, I love how they chose not to put music here. Speaking of sound effects, there is a tendency to have like that string noise when there's like a jump scare, and I don't know, that's just kind of annoying. I would rather have the horror be from the jump scare itself if you're going to do jump scare. And I'm already somebody who's not hot on jump scares and wish they were used so much more sparsely than they are in this movie. So there are a lot of jump scares, and some of them are from fake outs like dreams, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing another dream here. That was unsatisfying. So yeah, the horror didn't work in that regard, but like I said, the horror worked with a creepy atmosphere. And also there was some decent gore. Like, I was like, okay, that's a cool gore effect. Not as much gore as I expected, which is totally fine. Though I was spoiled on something like Bring Her Back and 28 Years Later, which I thought had great gore effects and had a very satisfying amount of gore. But I don't think this was a story that needed more gore than what's shown in the movie. So yeah, I don't know if I have too much else to add here. I like the movie. I don't know if I'll ever rewatch it, or at least not rewatch it anytime soon, but if somebody put it on, I would not be protesting against it or anything. And it's good to support original horror movies in theaters, though there are a lot of smaller ones that people don't pay too much attention to. I would give this one a strong 6 out of 10. I enjoyed it, thought it was good. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Zach Cregger does next. It's apparently going to be a Resident Evil movie, which I'm like, okay, I never really cared for those games, and I'd rather have an original idea because at least he had these two creative original ideas back to back, but who knows? It could be a good movie. So let me know what you thought of this movie in the comments below. Subscribe here for more reviews, but I also have some fun videos planned that are just broad movie topics, because I want to talk about more than just the most recent releases. I just haven't had much time. But don't worry, I'm going to TIFF next month, so I am super hyped and you're going to get some early reviews of some cool stuff. I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.